And once again, Joe the Shirt is off the cuff. Welcome back. I am Joe the Shirt. This is my show, Off the Cuff. All right. Today's music, at least that portion of it, was brought by the group Endless Blue and their song, Break. And I'm pretty sure I was about to do that, was just break and kill myself from the depression of listening to that guy. I pick stuff at random. I encourage any of you musicians out there, honestly, if you have anything that you think you'd like me to play, as part of the breaks, please send it. You got my email, joetheshirt@yahoo.com. You could let me know about it on Facebook or what have you, man. Welcome back. Now what's going on here? A lot of stuff's going on. As you all know, yesterday I talked quite a bit about the Pope, and we got a new Pope, and he's so cute, the Argentinian Pope, the first non-European Pope ever, the first Jesuit Pope ever, the first Pope from South America. So there's a lot going on there. I honestly thought it would have been more interesting if it had gone another way. I talked about this. I touched on it, but I want to elaborate really quickly before I move into other stuff. I think it's enough Pope talk for me. I'm not even fucking Catholic. There was some strong considerations for the first African Pope, which I think would have been fan-fucking-tastic. I mean, talk about testing the faith of Catholics. Okay, that would have been something. I would have loved that. What's this set on today? Okay, that's good. Yeah, I would have loved that. Just to see that look on people's faces on those all those lovely Catholics from Boston and Philadelphia and Chicago or Detroit. That would have been just fan-fucking-tastic. That's a test of faith right there. Okay, that's when your faith is being tested, when you are. When you're a white guy and you are a racist and you are Catholic, and believe me, there are quite a few of those out there, and the Pope is black. I would have shit myself. Oh my God, we got a black president, a black Pope. God, yes, I want to see that happen. As if white people weren't feeling bad enough. Actually, that's not true. Not all white people have objections to this, obviously. But, there's a big percentage of white people out there that are still resentful over the fact that the president's black. And I can guarantee you, they're not really thrilled that the Pope comes from a Latin American country either. All right? I mean, shit, people were losing their shit when the last Pope was like, shit, he's German? Holy fuck. But, now you had a Latin American Pope. Though he's not Argentinian, but from by birth. Geopolitically, yes, he is. He was born in Argentina, but his parents are Italian immigrants. So, it's not exactly like he's an outsider when it comes to, Italy, Rome, the Vatican, all that kind of shit. Anyway, like I said, enough Pope talk for now. I want to go through a couple of quick stories before we get into the meat of today's episode, which is getting raped in the media. And I will hit upon that. But I want to go through a couple of quick, small stories in here. This one I thought was really funny. A daycare worker in Morgan Hill, that's here in California, has been arrested on suspicion of putting sleeping pills into the toddler's drinks right before the scheduled nap time. Officials say that 59-year-old Deborah Gratz of Hollister was arrested at her home on charges of felony child endangerment. And I'm saying this is a fucking genius. Think about it. You got a bunch of kids, you got a bunch of fucking kindergartners, right? And you know what kindergartners are like, 5-year-olds are like. You remember being one. And I was definitely that kid in class that never wanted to go to fuck to sleep. And the teachers would always give me a hard time about it, like practically tie me down to my little, nap mat. And I would constantly talking to my mother when she came to pick me up, and it's like, yes, Joseph won't go to sleep. He won't take his nap. He keeps playing. He keeps bothering the other children. That kind of shit. But this one came up with a fantastic idea. She's putting sleeping pills in the kids' drinks. I love it. Police say that Gratz was fired on Friday after witnesses reported seeing her put something into the drinking cups of several children. Police say Gratz admitted to putting an over-the-counter sleeping aid into the drinks. What really bugs me about that is that witnesses say that she saw them put into several of the children. I mean, wouldn't you have been a little suspicious after you saw the first two? You know, it's like, is she putting something in little Timmy's drink? Is she putting something in little Tommy's drink? Is she putting something in little Mary's drink? And then, the 16th kid, does it look like she's putting something into little Jeremy's drink? You guys may have heard last year about the cannibal cop in New York who had made all these elaborate plans on kidnapping several women so that he could kill, cook, and eat them. Apparently a fetish he had going, and something that he posted about on social media. I mean, come on, you're a New York City cop, and you are posting on Facebook that, I can't wait to kidnap this woman, kill her, and tear her to pieces, and cook her and eat her, and I got all these recipes ready. That's what he was talking about. He had recipes that he wanted to use. He never got around to it. But according to the defense lawyers, the cannibal cop, whose name is Officer Gilberto Valle, 20-year-old father and husband, says that the other cannibal cop said that he didn't try to hide what they're calling his weird proclivities, but insisted that he was just fantasizing and did know that none of the women were actually harmed. Prosecutors countered that Valle was actually taking concrete steps to abduct his own wife and at least 5 other women he knew in order to kill and eat them. So they convicted him of conspiracy. I think that we're all allowed to have our little weird little odds and ends in our psyche every now and again. I, for some reason, still to this day, when women dresses up like a Catholic schoolgirl and puts on pigtails. It's true. I do. But then again, I'm also not a police officer or a teacher. And I'm also, and if I was one of those people, I certainly wouldn't post about it on Facebook. I mean, here, it's okay for me doing it here now because, in a very small way, I am a public figure. And I'm trying to, get stuff out there. Get people to listen in, and the crazier shit I say, the better. If I want to, have sex with dog shit, that's something I might say to get people to listen. But not if you're a cop. Okay. Some of you may have heard Diana Hansen was a 24-year-old woman that was killed in a wild animal park here in California. For whatever reason, she went into the lion's habitat that she was not supposed to be in. Allegedly, it was feeding time, but the way things worked is you have a small habitat where you put the food in, and then you somehow move or lure or prod the lion into the small habitat out of the big habitat, and he goes in there and he eats. For whatever reason, she was in the large habitat, and she was not allowed to be there, and the lion killed her. Not long after that, police came by. They were trying to lure the lion away from the victim's body, Diana. They weren't able to. They wanted to check on her, see if she was actually dead. So, of course, the cops went off and shot him. 4-year-old Couscous, the lion. That's what you want to name a lion, Couscous. What I really love is that their investigators are looking into why the lion attacked her. I'm going to go with she was soft and pink and looked tasty. And I'm a fucking lion. So, I'm just burning through these. I love it when I get to do this. Okay. March Madness is upon us. Everybody's going to be gambling and betting and watching the games. And watching the games a lot. Apparently, according to some recent surveys here, employers are going to be losing a lot of their workforce to March Madness. The average person planning on watching at least 3 hours a day of the tournament, especially early on in the tournament when a lot more people have schools that are still participating. this apparently costs hundreds of millions of dollars every year. According to this, $134 million in wages, since an estimated 3 million employees plan on watching the games while they're at work on the internet. Employers are warning their employees not to do this. One, because you're at fucking work, you're not supposed to be doing this shit. And two, if you're watching the game on, it's a good chance it'll crash the servers and the system, and just fuck up the company's ability to operate. Good luck with that. Of course, people are going to go watch the game. Okay, what else we got here? Okay, we all remember James Holmes. He was the douchebag that shot up all those people in Colorado, and he killed about a dozen, wounded 70. And we've been waiting for him to enter a plea. He was supposed to put one in back in January. Then it was moved to March because they needed time to prepare their defense. But all he needs to enter a plea: guilty, not guilty, not guilty by reason of insanity, whatever. And they came to court, and his lawyer said, "You know what? This is what they actually said. We cannot ethically stand before you and enter a plea." The judge basically said, "Fuck you. You know what? We've been waiting all this time. I'm entering a plea for him. He's pleading not guilty. Just a general plea. That's what we're going with." Now, which I'm like, yeah, it's about fucking time. Now, what's more interesting here is that the defendant, I'm going to read this here, the defendant in the Aurora Theater rampage that left 12 people dead and dozens injured can be given truth serum if he pleads not guilty by reason of insanity. So if he pleads not guilty by reason of insanity, and he can change his plea at any time, he can go from not guilty to not guilty by reason of insanity. They'll let him go with that if he agrees to truth serum. Let's see. The judge approved the use of a narcoanalytic interview, which refers to a decades-old process in which patients are given drugs to lower their inhibitions. Lawyers Holmes objected to this, and it's a no-go. All right, moving along. Another quick story for you here, you guys. Like a lot of people, I've often thought about, life in general and how long I will live and whether or not there is eternal life, life after death. We all think about it. We've all talked about it. And now they're going to go and study it. I love this. A professor of philosophy, John Martin Fisher, who is also an atheist, is considering the questions of immortality or eternal life. And he's been given $5 million to do this. That's right. Now, mind you, he's not going to be running any tests. He's not going to be running any scientific experiments, not analyzing any data. All he and his little cohorts are going to do is talk about the possibility. Not actually going to do any work, not going to run any experiments, not going to kill somebody and see if they come back. No. All they're going to do is philosophize about it. And that's where $5 million of grant money went to. And before we go on break, one last thing here. I may have mentioned this yesterday, but I'm going to mention it again here. Recent poll finds that most Latinos favor stronger gun laws. Well, fuck yeah. They're the ones that people are shooting at. Of course I want stronger gun laws. I'm Latino. Shit. Where do you think all the shootings are happening? But yeah, apparently they found that 84% of Latinos support stronger gun laws, criminal background checks, and also a ban on anybody with a history of mental illness from owning a gun. And not a shock, again, because really, you really don't want your neighbors shooting at you. And I know the stereotype I'm making out there, but it's a stereotype for a reason. And now we're going to take a quick little break. This time, though, we're going to take a break with new ex-Norwegian and his song, Fresh Pit. we're back. Once again, Joe the Shirt is off the cuff. That was ex-Norwegian and their song Fresh Pit, which quite different from the last song, wasn't it? quite the spread I got going today. Anyway, all right, let's talk about getting raped in the media. And I bring up a case of Trent Mays, 17, and Malik Richmond, 16, who are accused of raping a 16-year-old girl. Now, this is not like the newest thing to ever happen. You know, guys rape girls. It happens. And these guys are high school football players, aggressive guys by definition, if you play football. At least I think so. And guys that are, when they're in high school, these are party guys. These are guys that like to party. They're very popular guys usually, and they're used to girls pretty much throwing themselves at them, and they like to party. Let me tell you what happened here, though. According to this, during testimony, a teenage witness broke down in tears Wednesday as she described watching her friend become drunker and drunker during a party the prosecutor said led to the rape and degradation of the girl at the hands of two high school football players. This happened in Steubenville, Ohio. And it's a fantastic story. I'm going to read a few excerpts of the story that I got here. Let's see. Defendants Trent May, 17, and Malik Richmond, 16, began hearing the first of dozens of classmates recount the night of August 11th. Okay, now think about this. Dozens of classmates, witnesses to what happened. They are accused of raping the 16-year-old girl twice as other teenagers tweeted and texted about the incident and shared pictures and videos of it online. Now, right there, I think that's just an incredible story because last year I brought a story to you guys about a young girl in Africa who was assaulted and raped by literally a dozen guys. And they all took turns raping her. They all did it. And we're talking guys from ages from anywhere from like 12 to 30. All right? And they're all just having a good old-fashioned gangbang. And then these guys were, taking video of it with their cameras, with their phone cameras, and taking pictures of it and taking the video of it. And then they posted it on Facebook and YouTube and all this shit. And then they went back to their village and showed the videos on their phones to their pals. It's like, yeah, look what we did, right? And I remember, thinking, well, that's just stupid. But it makes you wonder, well, is that something that can happen here in the United States? And obviously it is. Now, both boys have pleaded not guilty. They say that the sex was consensual. Of course, the Assistant Attorney General, Marion Hemmeter, says different. She says she was not participating. She wasn't moving, describing the victim as so intoxicated that she could not speak, could barely walk, and sank to her knees in the middle of the street to vomit as she left one house party to go to another. She, quote, she's sitting in the street vomiting. Somebody takes her clothes off. The degradation continues. Okay, now I'm going to speak as a guy here, and let's face facts. There's a lot going on here. When we go out to party, yeah, you know what? We are targeting the drunker girls, because the drunk girls are definitely on the looser side. Their inhibitions are down, and we're trying to get some pussy. That's what we're there for. I don't advocate raping anybody. But once again, I'm questioning here, where does responsibility end and begin? Because here in the United States, if you're a drunk girl and somebody has sex with you, well, that's rape. You didn't participate. That wasn't consensual. And you were not in control of your faculties. And obviously you had no way of giving consent. You had no way of making a good decision. All right. But if you get behind the wheel of a car, well, you're just a guilty asshole. Okay, exactly where do you draw that line? Like I said, I am not advocating drinking and driving, but we've all been to that point where we've had a couple of drinks, maybe more than a couple, and in our heads we're fine, we're okay. We're not thinking that there's anything wrong with us. We get in our car and we drive home, and most of the time we get home just fine. Maybe there's a dent or a scratch on the car, but generally speaking, we get home okay. But if you get pulled over, or if you hit another car or a tree or a person, well then this is all your fault because you got drunk. But here, this woman here, this young lady, nothing is her fault because she was drinking. Even though her friends wanted her to leave the party, she wanted to stay. She vomited in the middle of the street and then went off to another party. Again, not condoning rape here, but was there a rape here? After getting in the car with some other teens, the girl was sexually assaulted in the back seat. Was she sexually assaulted in the back seat? That's really the question. I mean, where does assault begin? Where does it end? I mean, I've had sex with drunk girls before. By this definition, I could go to jail. I should go to prison. And I don't think that's accurate because, what if I was drunk too? I mean, that's another side of the story that people don't ever give. It's like I'm a guy. Maybe I'm a young guy. Maybe I'm a church going guy. Maybe I'm saving myself for marriage. But I go out to a party, have a few drinks, and before I know it, some woman is riding my dick and forcing my now engorged member into her body. I don't go around calling that rape, but it could be construed as rape. Under the the parameters that they're giving me here. Okay, we continue. Then Hemeter said, the group drove to a friend's house and headed to the basement. You will hear that eventually she's lying on her side, naked. The degradation doesn't stop there. A second rape is alleged to have occurred in the basement. Second rape. Now, here we have a couple of guys, this one girl, and lots of people, both male and female, around them, seeing what's going on, and nobody does anything to stop this quote-unquote rape. All right. According to one of the witnesses, a friend of hers, quote, she went downhill extremely fast, testified after describing the vodka drinks the group was consuming. The witness said that when she next saw her friend, the day after the parties, the girl started crying and said, I don't remember anything. Another witness said the girl was stumbling and unable to walk unaided shortly before she last saw her the night of August 11th. The witness wept as she recalled trying to persuade the intoxicated girl to leave with her. She said the girl refused and pushed her away, opting to remain in the company of the boys who would later be accused of raping her. Okay. So she was drunk, granted. But then again, so is everybody else. And when somebody tried to take her away, come on, baby, we came together, we leave together. When somebody tried that with her, she pushed them away and said, no, I want to hang out with these guys. I want to hang out with these guys, and I'm having fun. And she stayed with these guys. Now, here's one of the points I'm making here. I love this. The alleged victim has said that she learned what happened only when she became aware of the online chatter the next day. By the time she and her parents went to the police, the girl had showered and partygoers had deleted incriminating posts on their online social media accounts and from their phones. So she wakes up the next day, tells a friend of hers that she doesn't remember anything, has no idea that she was actually raped or had any type of sexual contact at all with anybody. This is what she alleges. I said, I'm not trying to put the victim on trial here, but in a way I am. Because at what point do we expect some sort of personal responsibility from her? By all accounts, this is something that everybody thought was amusing, that they thought was funny or a goof, and they didn't think it was weird at all as they, brought out their cell phones and videotaped it and posted it on Facebook and YouTube. They thought that this was okay. As the trial began, a small group of protesters gathered outside of Steubenville's courthouse, demanding that witnesses who saw the alleged rapes be prosecuted for failing to report a crime. But the real question is, was there a crime committed? I can't tell yet. I really don't know. I mean, did something terrible happen to you? If you don't remember it happening, all you know is that what people tell you. I mean, we've all had those days when we get up the next day, and we're like, oh my God, what happened? It's like, oh dude, you don't remember what happened? Oh dude, it was fucked up. We've all had those days. There's no reports of any bruising, any vaginal bruising on the victim, the alleged victim. She wasn't hurt in any way that was easily, visual to anybody. So the real question is, was she raped, or was she just embarrassed because she got drunk and acted like a total hoe? That is the real question here. And mind you now, there have been lots of cases in this country of women, of girls, that have had very, very loose ways about themselves and have lots of sex. And then when people find out about it, claim rape. This was the big story that I did last year, where a soon-to-be big-time football star was accused of rape by a classmate. She was 16, he was 18. He was getting a full ride to a bunch of colleges, because of his football abilities, and she had sex with him, and then claimed that he raped her. She later admitted, like 10 years later, mind you, 10 years later, she admits that she wasn't raped by him. She only said that because she hadn't told her parents that she was already being sexually active, and so to cover up that fact, she claimed she was raped. What a bitch. And then what did her and her family do? They sued the school, got millions. He went to prison, spent the next 10 years with an ankle monitor, and watched his football career go up in smoke. All because she lied. And she admitted that she lied. Absolutely admitted that she lied, and that's why he doesn't have the ankle bracelet anymore. I mean, and he got picked up by a development league football team to see if maybe he still got the skills necessary to play pro ball. Good luck to him. I really hope he does well. But, before we go off and just assume that these guys are guilty, let's look at the alleged victim's behavior and look at the behavior of her alleged friends who took all this video and pictures and posted it on Facebook and YouTube. I mean, are those really your friends? I mean, if your friends saw you, getting raped by a couple of football players, you'd like to think that they would try to intervene. They'd try to stop it. They'd call the cops. They'd yell, scream, hey, stop, rape, don't do that. That's what you'd like to believe. But that's not what happened here. And I don't know. Like I said, I'm not saying these guys are innocent. I'm not saying that she wasn't raped. I'm just saying that it's not quite as black and white as we'd like to think it is. Mind you now, Trent Mays and Malik Richmond, they are black and white. Malik is black. And Trent, are those that's like the whitest and blackest names I've ever heard of in my life. And that is actually it for today. Thank you for listening. I'm Joe the Shirt. I've been Off the Cuff. And here's Goodbye, once again, by Endless Blue.